Welcome to Vitalify Unplugged. You're listening to your hosts, Gry and Steph.
In this podcast, we talk about everything health and well-being, science and technology, and ancient wisdom.
This is for the quirky humans navigating the messy middle, looking for the path to true vitality.
It's for the curious minds and tired bodies looking for clarity, energy, and inspiration that works your way.
Welcome to Vitalify Unplugged.
Hey, it's your friend Gry, intuitive AI and tech whisperer, 60 plus, full throttle and talk energy bunny, here to unlock and unleash potential through fairness, freedom, and fun.
And I'm Steph, holistic nurse, soulful scribbler, and midlife explorer, living with truth, heart, and a little bit of magic in the messy middle.
Today we're exploring legacy, but perhaps not in the way we usually think about it. Often legacy is framed around achievements, wealth, and what we leave behind. But what if legacy is less about accumulation and more about impact? What we leave in people, in their hearts, in their stories, and in the way we move through the world after knowing us. Today's conversation invites us to reflect on the legacy through culture, connection, and lived wisdom.
So today we are deeply honored to have a very special guest to my heart. We've got Dr. Bilawara Lee, also known as Aunty B, a proud Larrakia woman, senior elder, healer, teacher, and cultural leader. Aunty Bilawara has spent decades supporting connection to culture, country, and community through language, education, and healing work. Her contribution spans generations, grounded in care, knowledge sharing, and cultural continuity. She's also an internationally published author and an advocate for community well-being. And at the heart of it all, she speaks of herself as a mother, a grandmother, and an auntie. Someone deeply committed to supporting people to reconnect with identity, purpose, and belonging. And Aunty B, we are so glad that you're here.
Thank you. Now, Aunty B, before we begin, we'd love to invite you to share in your own words who you are and what has guided you to the work you do today.
Well, I'm Bilawara Lee. Bilawara is the red-tailed black cockatoo and is an ancestral spirit being that brings about change. I was born in Darwin on country 76 years ago.
Wow.
And now I'm the eldest of 15. I've 3 children, grandchildren, 1 great-grandson. I grew up in a very small town, but now I'm a senior Larrakia elder and acknowledged worldwide as a Gada Minbar Lee, a spirit doctor. Everything I do is to help change the way people live. I have a saying, we must look back for the future. Look back of the way we did it old days in harmony with each other, Mother Earth, Mother Nature, and each other to live a better way of life.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that. Look back to see the future.
Yeah. And when I was going to be, Mum was pregnant, they said, the old ladies came and said to her, you will have a daughter. Mum didn't know. We couldn't tell in those days because I would be the oldest daughter of the oldest daughter of the oldest daughter down the line. And we are not Larrakia people. We're Gurumaridjan people. Larrakia is a Macassan name, not our name. So they said, Mum, you would have a girl. She will have the totem black cockatoo, and she will walk and talk, and she'll be a healer. From the day I was born, I've grown up with really strict rules. I've never had a cup of coffee in my life. I've never drank alcohol, cigarettes and drugs. I discovered Diet Coke. But I have lived really strict in my teachings because I have to set an example. My journey's been guided very much by my ancestors and spirit guides. I have two in particular, really, really strong in my life. Mana and Kumra, two ancient Aboriginal elders in spirit. So my writings, my teachings, my travel overseas, I'm the Australian representative of the International Indigenous Grandmothers Council. We acknowledge as the world's keepers of the ancient sacred knowledge. And we talk about things a lot, very much similarities with environmental differences. And I travel all the world with one of the books, Star Dreaming.
I've got both the books, and they're awesome.
The Star Dreaming was ratified by Tata, the chair of the Mayan Council, as one of the Mayan prophecies. They say that one will step forward to bring about change. And he said that you, and so why me? Said you, the grandmother from the oldest continuous surviving culture on the world planet, and you, the one, will bring us through for the future.
Wow.
We'll put
So I
those
do what I
book
do.
links in there. Yeah. And just speaking from my experience in being in your presence, Aunty B, like, I want to share that you were a marriage celebrant. You've named my kids. You've been with us through all our clinics, and the wisdom and kindness and the compassion that you share is why you're so integral to the community. So, thank you for all of that.
Thank you.
On this podcast that we're Gry and I are exploring, we wanted to bring you on because we want to expand this concept of wealth beyond money. So from your perspective, what does wealth mean, particularly through the First Nations lens?
Traditionally, we didn't have money. Wealth for us is the more you give, the richer you are. In our community, like we share food or shelter or caring for country, ritual, ceremony, community, it's like an obligation. I've got 9 brothers and I'm really, really rich because they owe me. All my life I've fed them, helped them, looked after them. So I only have to pick up the phone and I run. Sis, no worries, what you need. It's not, and our identities not based on what you achieved academically or what you own or your position in life, how much money you got in a bank. You know, my identity is about my country, my community, and my culture. It's not the color of your skin, it's the essence of your heart.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. And it shines a good light on the obligations and the joy of being the older sister as well. Just another one here.
Yes,
And
number
me,
one.
and me.
But it offers a different way of understanding value and success. I loved how you said that you're very rich because your brothers owe you. I think I've got a little bit of that. Not money, but in things that we do, I guess.
And people always say to me, "Oh my gosh, you're so lucky." I said, "But I give out kindness and respect." And when something happens and I think I get a bit offended to start with and think, no, stop. That happened for a reason. And this lifetime is a time of completing old karmic journeys. You know, you might have harmed somebody in a past life. My partner Bear, who is with me, looking after me so well, because he killed me in a past life. He owes me a life. This lifetime, He looks after me very well. A 6'6" ex-army
He is.
officer. His shoes.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
You gotta,
Um,
I've never
and-
heard that perspective before, and I think that's kind of wonderful because that kind of taps back into what we're talking about, legacy, not as something that's distant, but something that we
And
create through
it's you.
everyday actions, right?
You're not just here one life. That's it.
No.
You
Yeah.
you're going through many lifetimes to reach a level of vibration enlightenment.
Yeah.
Then you can come spirit form.
Yeah.
Go back to the
Mm.
dream time.
Yeah.
Dream time and dreaming, two different things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh.
Yes. And we always learn as
curious.
we go, right?
I remember
Yeah.
I've got tattoos. I remember quite a few of my lifetimes.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And I was
yeah.
blessed to meet the Dalai Lama and talk
Mm.
to him about this. He totally agrees. He
Mm.
remembers
Ah.
past lifetimes. The
Yeah.
more
Right.
you raise your environment in vibration, you remember past life.
Yeah.
Mm.
And that thing about vibration, that's something that's so blocked out in the, if I can call it, I think it's such a stupid name, Western culture, but maybe white culture, European style culture, that
Yeah.
we kind of block out those vibrations and we block out
Yeah.
those connections that are not
Because
present now.
Mother Earth is encased in two grids of songlines, the white and the dark. And the human body has songlines, the grid two energy ley lines in the body. That's how we do healing. We tap into the songlines in the body.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Literally, they'd use a marmilama or didgeridoo to do healing, done properly. Done
Yeah.
bad's really bad. But I'm a songline singer. I'm a healer using silent singing vibrations. I'm a singer of the earth too. I'm a also star dreamer.
Beautiful.
And I think you think through your songs as what I've very small amount that I've been able to learn about Aboriginal culture, particularly living up in Darwin. Like we learn that knowledge is shared through the stories and the songs and the language and the connection to country.
Yeah.
Would can you share a bit with our audience why storytelling is so important, such an important part of passing on knowledge and legacy?
Well, we didn't have a written language, so our storytellers were critical in passing on our ancient history and knowledge to the coming generations. I don't think we have time to go through moieties and skin groups like it's another whole level.
That's a
But
lifetime
We'll have
of
to have
learning.
we might have to have a whole season about that.
Yeah, and it tells us who teaches us. In my Guru managing community, we have two moieties, Yirita and Dua. I'm Yirita. My mum's and her siblings are Dua. She teaches my grandchildren who are Dua. So each level is a Dua, Yirita, and everything in our community, tangible and intangibles, has a spirit, and we're responsible teaching our generations about the particular thing. And so everything is covered: song, dance, story, sight, everything. We look after everything.
I love that diverse perspective, that the little branches and ripples that go through everything. And what I've always loved with my Aboriginal friends is that they go, I do this, I do that, I do everything. I'm a singer, I'm a community builder, I'm a doctor, I'm everything, right? Because often in the cultures, in the linear culture that we live in here in Australia, it's kind of, okay, you've got to be this. But I'm going, but I'm not this. I'm that and that and this and that, So I think we need to give ourselves permission, if you like, and forgiveness for being who we are sometimes, But I wanted to kind of tap into how stories help shape identity and belonging in culture and between peoples.
Well, it's stories, but it's much more deeper and bigger than just the word stories, because stories, grandparents, through stories on an individual level, the grandparents teach the grandchildren about the culture, the country, rituals, ceremonies, their heritage, where their place is in the society. The community tells stories through song and dance, or just storytelling about sites of significance, ritual ceremonies, what you could do, what you can't do, about the animals, the totems, the earth, the sun, moon, stars. So we have different layers of stories. Now, you as an individual has a song. I can hear and feel the vibrations of the song. I can tell when somebody's sick or not nice and I don't like them because I can use my song, my vibration, my harmony to heal somebody sitting next to me or at a distance. And you know, when you meet somebody, you think, oh, I want to hug them. I just want to hang on to them. That means your song and their song is harmonizing beautifully. You meet somebody that, get away from me, don't touch me, I don't want you near me, means their vibration, the song is cracked, broken. I just think they're sick. So.
Wow.
I love that.
Song is the word we use, and stories critical. We teach language through the stories. I've written 10 books in Larrakia language and English for kids.
All right.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And just share that you're writing songs with the orchestra.
I've already written several songs, and one in particular for in honouring strong women.
Good.
We love, yeah.
That's meant to be a heart. I don't know if it looks like a heart.
Well, in it I say women preceded men. I can get the words up and tell it to you. The orchestra and I've asked for Larrakia, Kurumanage, my cousin, to sing, and I've got 2 signers, an Auslan signer and a Yugo signer, sign language.
So they're
going to stand on the side and sign the words.
Wow.
What's a Yugo signer?
Yungu from Tiwi Islands. Aboriginal
right.
sign. We have the original ancient sign language.
So it's different to Auslan and things like that, right? I know there are a few different languages in signing.
One
too,
of the ladies is a professional interpreter signer, and she got hold of my book and went, many of the Auslan signs come from the Yungu sign books.
Oh, okay.
And I remember living in community, and the lot of language, a lot of communication happens across the way, just by
at Menzies School of
hand
Health
movement.
At Menzies we did a podcast series called Ask the Specialist, because of the hospitals in the NT. On a daily basis we have 14 languages regularly spoken. English not the first language. We have 2 Creoles as well. Because of that, sign language body language is really important in communication.
Yeah. You got to use it. I still find myself even down here, down south, using a bit of language, but body language. But nobody. It's not. No one gets it. not yet, anyway.
Yeah.
But as a mother and a grandmother and an auntie, what values feel most important to pass on to the younger generations in this modern world?
Well, I was honoured to receive the Northern Territory First Nations Woman of the Year Award, big ceremony.
Well deserved.
What is said there, and the other week we had an event for all women living rough, and stuff like that. And the young girls are said, because Gurumedj and Larrakia is matriarchal, not patriarchal. So the women are very, very strong. And I teach wherever I go, you're a woman, you preceded men on the earth, and you're better than men I'm a bit cheeky like that because you can have babies.
Bit disruptive.
You can have babies, and don't let anyone tell you you can't do it. If you want to be an astronaut or want to be a mum, a gardener, or a doctor or singer, go for it. It's what makes you happy. You can do it. Don't let anyone tell you you're not good enough. You
And
can say,
can I-
Aunty B said I can do it.
Oh, well, and just as an example of you living and standing in your own truth and your own power, you had a stroke and lost the power of
that
your...
happened for a reason.
Yeah.
Now, I got to 65 and I kept getting warnings, slow down, stop. I was so dragged into the corporate world. I was on 17 boards, committees. I was doing 100 odd welcomes ceremonies a year, and I was getting the messages in my head, stop, slow down. Even tarot readers there was telling, you got to stop. Yes, soon, I've got things to do. And I got hit. I didn't have a heart attack, but they checked me and I was sent to Adelaide for a triple heart bypass, pacemaker inserted, and that caused a stroke. So literally, the grandmas laugh at me. They said, Bilawara, the ancestors kicked you up the ass because you wouldn't listen to them. They will do that. You get a point, they're not listening, they go slam, slap. I got slapped down in hospital for 3 months of that. I got the message. Also, I resigned off every committee, no longer a celebrant. I've now written my books. I revived the Good Indonesian language. I'm doing my music for the orchestra. I'm being very creative and more of these healing works. The Charles Darwin has opened a medical school. I'm teaching the medical students about how to heal energetically while doing the practice, like suturing. You can use energies to heal. I teach them smoking ceremony, fundamental to how our healing. After at Mencia did the podcast series on communication, cross-cult communication. I'll teach them students how to communicate, not only for the patient's safety, but for their safety. If you can communicate, you can get better diagnosis and better treatment. I'm a very
100%.
big advocate for two-way healing.
And it's
100%.
such an important aspect. I wonder, I had a question about, what young people pick up most from us, and obviously you are doing a lot of teaching and education and things like that. But what do you
Not
think?
only on a teaching, the way I conduct myself every day is an exam. I don't do this and go home and do something else.
No.
Everything in my life is exactly the same. I don't bullshit. I speak my truth. I won't put up with, I'm trying not to say dirty words.
You can swear.
BS,
Let
you
it
can say
out.
I don't put up with bullshit. And I've learned to walk with my skin as a grandmother and an elder. And I set an example. And I get a lot of young ones coming, Aunty B shouldn't eat meat. Why? In my book, Start Reading, I say the animals were put on the planet to teach us the lesson of sacrifice. By denying them the sacrifice, you deny learning the teaching of love. Because I love those sacrifices. The crystal put here to enhance our spirit journey, plant material to nourish a journey. So it's all in the book. But eating meat and, you don't have to be vegan, vegetarian. That's bullshit.
But it's kind of interesting because, each generation has different aspects and things, but it all becomes part of, the community and the well-being, and which is kind of our next theme in this podcast. So it's cool.
I find the young ones are really, over a couple of generations, have been ripped away from their ancient teaching. They're from Europe, America, Australia, Africa, England, and they don't have ritual and ceremonies in life as they should. So they're seeking some sort of discipline to
Mm.
replace
Yeah.
that. And sometimes they go down weird paths, really weird paths.
But
I
I
like
think
watching her faces when a lot of the grandmothers and the Native American, Inuit, South American chiefs get together and they're tucking into steak, and those horrified looks on people's faces.
yeah,
So
but
wow.
yeah. I mean, and it's okay. I mean, as humans, we're evolving, right? And to
Absolutely.
some extent,
And people, you know, your choice is your choice. That's fine. But don't try and tell others what to do.
yeah,
Your business is your business. My business, my business. Everyone else's business. None of your but business.
And I think a lot of your work really is about bringing people together through culture and community. And I think, you've mentioned kind of the loss of ritual and ceremony, but how is that so connected and important to well-being?
So many conversations here. There are several very important topics that I have come really out into the public about yet. The grandmothers agree with me that we're not only humans on Earth, we're dealing with a cosmic energy and others. I don't go down that track. But we're dealing with what people would say are aliens, reptilians. We have a relationship in the NT for eons, generations. From the reptilians, we get the rainbow serpents. Chinese get the dragon. Other people, and they're teachers. They work with us. So that's a whole
Other
conversation.
podcast.
But we deal 5-dimensionally. Not every single First Nation person. Many of lost and disconnected, but in the territories still have really strong links to the way we live, and we I see things and feel things, hear things, and I'm not insane. If other people had to put up with it, they might go a bit nutty. I live in a really interesting world, watching and hearing and seeing other things. Yeah.
I can imagine. I can just imagine. What to you? What does a strong, healthy community look like now? Like with the world that the rest of us can see, but also through what you're seeing and hearing.
I don't. That's almost impossible nowadays with and the intrusion of Western cultures. The me, I, nuclear. A healthy community is us, we. Respect elders, take care of the young ones. Cohesively living mind, body, spirit with kindness, respect, and consideration for others in there. With strong rules, I had a conversation with the NT prosecutor. I advocated there seemed to be a thing at the moment of people committing crimes and they say it was culturally, it's culture. My reasoning is that to the Attorney General, well, they claim they did this crime on the head of a banner culture. Let punish them traditionally. Take a spear in the gut or leg. They won't do it again. Not going to a very comfortable air conditioned, clean sheets, good food, accommodation. Take a spear, babe. You won't do that again in a hurry. It won't claim as culture to do the sin.
Yeah. And I mean,
Can't have two
and
worlds.
that is those that's right. Well, that's a whole nother discussion and podcast in itself. And but that's a really important part, because if our young people are being confused
They're
about
lost
what
at the
is,
moment. And in all cultures, black, white, yellow, and brindle,
Absolutely.
traditionally,
we're all a
when
bit
a babe was
confused.
born, no, I've presented that at conferences now. That's why we have so many Aboriginal kids in trouble. when a baby is born normally, the placenta is buried in your home country, a village or whatever. Here on Larrakia country under a banjo tree. That is your seed, life seed for your life journey, your spiritual connection to your culture, country, community, language, everything. But you're forced to go to the cold 7th floor of the hospital air conditioned cement building, and they take the placenta, put in the freezer, and incinerate it once a month. That's the child seed connection gone. In every culture, science,
What do the hospitals say
Western
about that?
medicine has really done a number on humanity.
Absolutely. Totally. And I think that when we look at young people there today, it's kind of that missing
They're
alignment.
lost.
Yeah, they're lost. They don't have the connection. They don't have the
Yeah.
alignment and with their culture, and our cultures evolve and change, but they all should,
And
ideally we integrate and we take the good stuff, right?
I honestly believed 30, 40 years ago, the earth was seeded with a mist, or you could call it, of almost like testosterone, which infected all the males in the earth to be aggressive. And now they had to suppress women, feminine, and it's infected the boys and on. Now, thank God, we're seeing since 2083 kids born with extra DNA to help them to be immunized to this infection, I call it. That infections, any females got extra testosterone in the body is infected and make people really angry, aggressive, greedy. It's not nice.
So then if that's the case, what can we do now to, like, that's there and that's happening, and like you said, you've lived from birth this very coherent life where you're in alignment with your values and your beliefs.
I have to.
Yeah. So, but how for the lost people? How can, and I feel like sometimes I'm very lost and identity's confusing, and So how do you realign that so that it's
all
lining up?
in my book. I
Yeah.
talk about how to live, how to eat, how to behave. I talk about your behavior, and I also have a big paragraph on white people.
Yeah.
There is currently last few years a white cringe. People apologize for being white. Stop it, because without white we can't have the rainbow. We can't become enlightened extra. White people as important as black or yellow or red people. And
I mean,
you're
love
important.
that.
That's a huge conversation, like, because I
Absolutely.
don't know if people apologize for being white, but for what has happened and things like that. And I would also say that, like with black or yellow or red people, there's also a lot of different kinds of white people, because I'm a white person and I'm definitely not like most Australian white people or the dominant Australian white people and things like that.
I come across it a lot in America and England.
And here as well, a few good people.
Yeah.
But I guess if somebody who's listening pause to kind of reflect on their life, where could they start apart from reading your book? I think they should all get your book and read about it.
Make sure they do that.
But what would they?
I think they could start by ignoring the color of the skin. Look inside. Be the person inside, and try to live your life, mind, body, and spirit. And I would never tell you what you have to do. Have a suggestion from the ancestors, but there's many ways you can live a life, a good life, in service to your community, your family, the wider community.
No, look inside and
It's
And live-
inside.
yeah,
You have to
yeah.
heal
It's an inside
inside,
job.
not
Yeah.
worried about the outer sin or how much
Mm.
you own or earn or how influential you are. You know, that's
Mm.
you can't take it when you die, but you can
No.
take love.
Mm.
You know, I talk the vibrations, the highest, the lowest vibrations is fear,
Yeah.
and then
Mm.
hate and anger.
Mm.
You get up to the top, and the top one's not love, but joy, happiness, and
Mm.
just under this love and kindness.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
aim for the having that imbibed in your body. You love
Mm.
people, you kind to people,
Mm.
you respect yourself, respect others.
Yeah. Yeah. And what's something you feel people could understand about living a meaningful life? What do you feel more people could
Just
understand? Sorry.
daily think,
Mm.
what have I done yesterday?
Mm.
Did it help people, or did I do things just for myself? Was it horrible to people, or was it nice to people? I walk around smiling at people. People stop and say, "You're so happy." Yeah, I'm happy. I smile at you.
Yeah.
And I always say a little something nice. I have people in my life I do not like, but they would never know.
Mm.
I'm
It's
I keep my distance, but I'm polite and kind
Mm.
yeah.
Mm.
because
And
they're
yeah.
on a journey of
Yeah.
learning and raising our vibration.
Absolutely. And kindness is such a sometimes underrated perspective
It's
of life, but it's so
just a
important.
smile. Hello.
And you know what? I love doing it on public transport. When I go on
I
public
love it
transport,
doing all the time.
I just smile to people, and they just go, oh, oh, and then they smile.
And
You
I
know,
say, you got beautiful eyes. And she keep walking. Or
yeah,
I like that dress. Keep walking.
yeah,
Like
yeah, absolutely.
that
And they
little bit,
spread joy.
the little bit
Yeah.
of a compliment will raise their joy and vibration. You've done, it's called seed dreaming. You've planted a seed of joy.
Yeah, it's beautiful, beautiful. Now, Aunty B, we you know, the podcast is called Vitalify Unplugged, and so we like to ask all our guests one question. So here we go. What does living unplugged mean to you?
Plug.
Unplugged.
Not being dictated to by fashion or technology. I like to get back to nature, in the salt water. I'm a saltwater woman. Look after myself, learning to say no, unplugged. Another whole conversation about
We've got a whole Aunty B season, don't we now?
I would.
I
I'm
dedicate
proposing one.
I dedicate all
Talk about
organize all orgasms to Mother Earth. I send that vibration energy direct to her, to the crystals,
Wow.
to empower her to make less erosion, disasters, floods,
Yeah, beautiful.
things like that. It's unplugged. I do things outside the
That's
norm.
one I haven't done before, but I will from now on.
We're gonna have to try that.
When I first heard, when I was a young adult, women say, not tonight, I have a headache. The traditional healing for a headache is an orgasm. That's a
That is so cool.
prescribed
From the
prescription.
healing doctor. I love that.
I
Modern medicine needs to adopt it. My
Yes.
goodness.
I wanted to do that with Aruna. Not with him, but in the clinic. I wanted the clinic to do that.
Okay, well we'll
he's
talk
like
next.
You
my
wanted
son.
to encourage him to give that as a
The
treatment.
doctors at the
But-
clinics to prescribe
you-
orgasms.
You can
Please.
you teach him that, and they say one
I
night,
will.
ring him up, say, Aruna, I think I've got a headache coming on. I need a cure.
Just for
I would
our
say that to
listeners,
Bear, and the
For
Bear,
our listeners,
I'm gonna have
Aruna
a
is Steph's
shave
husband.
and shower ready.
This is what happens when you have people you know on the show, and so the
Women
listeners don't know
are
Aruna, right?
Aboriginal women, very earthy. all
Yes,
body
they are.
functions and important living a good
Yes.
life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A woman that has the dirty water backed up is bitter and angry, not good for the community.
dirty water.
You know what?
Oh,
Like
I can't.
Well, this took a different turn than what I
can't wait for the
expected.
clips on this. And you said joy is the highest vibration. Do things that feel joyful, like have an orgasm. One of them.
Laughing is the medicine for everything. Laughing and orgasms.
Put them together. Okay, mindful orgasms, not laughing orgasms. And
You gotta be
send them
careful.
down to the earth.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm going to do Mother Earth. She does.
That's
yes.
true.
Aunty B, this has been so amazing, and we're so and hilarious. I love it.
At
and
times, yeah.
That's a belly laugh where I can feel my muscles.
Wonderful, beautiful. So we're about to wrap up, and this conversation has really. Thank you so much, Aunty Bilawara. The conversation reminds us that legacy isn't something we leave at the end of life. It's actually something that we create in every interaction and through care and connection and the values you live by. So thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us. Now, to all our listeners, if this episode resonated, consider sharing it with someone who might need to hear it. And as always, stay curious, stay connected, and keep living unplugged.
Mama, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us on Vitalify Unplugged. If this episode sparked something in you, share it with a friend. Hit follow or subscribe. And don't forget, we love hearing from you. So send us a message and tell us what's lighting you up. See you in the next episode.